Hello everyone and welcome to Kryptonite, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. I'm with Colton today. Hello Colton.
Hey Boris, I hope you're doing well. Welcome back to the Kryptonite channel, everyone.
All right, ICP.
Yeah. So for my first question today, Boris, is what is ICP and can you kind of dive into their project and coin?
Okay, so ICP, so that everybody understand, it is really one of those projects that's quite different from most of the others. If we want to sum up what ICP is, it's the internet computer. So their idea is to build a gigantic blockchain that would become one big computer spread out throughout the world across multiple data center, but acting as if it was basically one single big computer where everything is, all the apps, all the smart contracts, everything. And whether it's games or actual applications, everything is running on that blockchain. And it's really a big undertaking and a big project to go over all these things and trying to replace everything that's out there. As far as they see it now, it's a little pretentious, I guess, from them, but they feel like you can have Bitcoin, but all the other altcoins are useless. Only ICP can do everything. So, but that's a claim that sometimes a lot of the others also have. If you have Cardano, you don't need you don't need Ethereum, and if you have Ethereum, you don't need Solana, and if you have Avalanche, you don't need another layer one. But really their vision is having a world computer. It's very secured, it's open, everything runs on it. And so that's roughly what it is. Now, what's interesting to know is they have what's called canisters, which is where you can put your smart contracts. Each canister can be about up to 4 gigabytes. And then they have subnets. So subnets, they are almost like an independent blockchain, like a sub blockchain. So each project could run their own subnet and having their own blockchain. It's all attached to the big blockchain of ICP. And then also those subnet can talk to each other and they can interact with each other. And that's also where you can have a lot of throughput very easily because of having all those sub chains. So it's a little bit the same story that the parachains with Polkadot, or with Cosmos having multiple chains interacting with each other. But the thing that they do slightly different is that it's running almost like, let's say, almost like a virtual machine. And each virtual machine can process lots of storage, lots of memory. You can store everything and anything. Sometimes some of the other chains don't store media files very well. Here they can store any type of formats, any type of files. And also they have a super high throughput and very low latency because everything is highly, highly decentralized and distributed all over the world. So it's a very interesting project in that sense, what they can do. Now, we have a ton of information. We're going to share this file there'll probably be a link to either download the file or something, because there's so much data. This video would become 45 minutes, an hour if we went into detail with everything. And I'm just trying to have people have an understanding, a high altitude understanding of what it does. But you can go more into details with the files we put together here. And also security is another big thing. They use a lot of cryptography, so to secure the transactions, the communication between you and ICP, and also between the different subnet chains and the different canisters, the smart contracts. So everything is highly scalable and highly secured. On the token side, another thing that's kind of different with them is, first of all, they are operating as a DAO, it's decentralized autonomous organization, and each DApp can run its own governance system. So What's cool about this is each dApp, each project, each application can run as a DAO and have its own governance, all sitting inside ICP. So it's not like, yeah, the governance comes from the top at ICP and then everybody underneath, all the apps, they have to follow, which is usually what happens in other blockchains. Here you can separate your governance and make it different. Even though you are on the ICP blockchain, it actually you use your own governance. Two tokens. One is the ICP token, which is the native token utility meant, for governance, of course, for computing, for rewards, for contribution, etc., etc. And then you have cycles, which is kind of a stable coin. It's used and it's created by burning ICP. And it's being used for users to pay for the computation resources and network transactions.
Thank you for that information, Boris. Can we kind of change gears here and talk about the history and performance of ICP?
Yes. So they were created back, the project was founded, DFINITY, which is the organization behind ICP. They were created on October 2016. And they raised $121 million and from some big names, the Polychain, Capital, Aspect Ventures, etc. So by 2018, they also did an airdrop of 50,000 registered participants, and distributed some of the ICP tokens. And since then, they've been developing, in 1920, they went through different alpha and test nets, et cetera. And by the end of December 2020, they actually released the alpha version of their main net. And since then, they've been progressing on the software itself and on the whole blockchain. So the beta launch was in May 2021. And so they're still working on it. Lots of projects are still in kind of beta mode where it's almost there, but they're still working out some of the kinks and some of the problems and some of the bugs. On the token distribution, they have a distribution that's fairly okay. It's distributed across, seed donation. They have 25%. And then the team members have 18%. And the DFINITY Foundation has about 24%. And the rest, it's, pre-sales and strategic partners and a few other things. They have what's called the network nervous system to govern the internet computer. And it's a very decentralized system that stores basically all the nodes and the allocations to the subnets. So they're storing also the ledger on this. And it's the core of ICP. And they have those canisters, which are the smart contracts that we just talked about. And each canister is hosted on one subnet. So, and they can, communicate with each other across different subnets. They can send async messages. So that's very important. Async as well, that you can send it all at the same time, all together. So basically making everything very scalable, very, very scalable. And last thing to remember is because of the number of distributed, especially when you are worldwide, let's say you are in Australia and you want to reach the subnet for this or that, and you have a computer sitting maybe in Australia or maybe some that are in Asia, which is not too far. you'll have a lot less latency. Latency is the speed at which a computer can reply back to you. But if everything is very centralized, like everything is in the US, for instance, and you are in Europe or in Asia, latency becomes very big because suddenly it has to go all the way to the US through the internet, and then that computer is answering back. So with having extremely decentralized system across all the different data centers, that's the advantage that they bring. So they're going to be able to grow very fast, and that's what I think is very important. And also, they are totally censorship resistant because of their highly distributed model. No one can really put a stop to it. So even if some computers might be at Azure on Microsoft, or some of them may be on AWS at Amazon, and they turn off some of those things, it doesn't shut down anything. So that's, I think, the beauty of it. So on other blockchains, Google, for instance, can stop a DApp. They cannot on the IC, on the Internet Computer Protocol. It's not possible. Developers become legally liable, because it is not really decentralized in some of the other apps. And we've seen it with Tornado Cash. Some of those guys ended up in jail, I believe it was in the Netherlands. Here, it's impossible because you don't know who committed the code. Everything stays anonymous, The users also are anonymous. No one can be tracked on the Internet Computer Protocol. So really, all those things are making it a unique type of project. And of course, they're going to do DeFi, NFT, gaming, social media, etc., etc. I mean, it's endless, the possibilities, and of course, the metaverse. So just on their market cap, they're sitting at $1 billion currently. They have a circulating supply of 274 million coins out of a total max supply of almost 500 million. Now, their all-time high was $700. That was back in May last year. And now their all-time low was just a few days ago at 353. And they're currently sitting at 393. So they're under $4. When you think they were almost at $700, that is a big plunge. They came out really high at the very big, from the get-go, they were like in the top 15, which was insane. As soon as they pretty much released their token. And it looks like FTX, them again, didn't like them very much. So they tried to torpedo the whole project by shorting their coin and doing all kinds of nasty tricks. Now that FTX is gone, what does that mean for ICP? Is it going to come back up? Well, at least they don't have someone playing against them anymore. Mm-hmm. And we're in the, right in the middle of that bear market.
Thank you for that information there, Boris. Can we now talk about the latest news and development of ICP?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, in just a few days ago, let's say about 20 days ago, it was announced that they're trying to do a reboot. And it was done by the community, and they're launching a new token called the ICPR. So it's forking from the ICP original project, and it's driven by the community. So let's see, it's always good when you see a community being behind their project. We're thinking, of course, of the XRP army, who's been really strong defending their project. The same with the Cardano community, also defending their project. So ICP seems to have a very strong community as well. Some of the really cool stuff that we have found is those things. Now, this is the actual transactions per second. And you can see, comparing to some of the others, 5,000 plus when Solana is doing about 3,000 plus right now. Avalanche doing 49, 15 on Algorand, Ethereum 14, etc., etc. So those guys, and even currently they're claiming that they're doing more than almost 10,000 transactions per second on ICP. So that's really, really, really a lot. And the system hasn't crashed. They haven't had any problems. Their block finality, whenever, it's the time that takes, for a block, to be validated and created and guaranteed, because once the block is created, you cannot go back. And their block finality is 1 to 2 seconds. Avalanche 2.3 seconds, Algorand 3.5, Solana 5 seconds, and Ethereum 15 minutes. So once again, extremely, extremely fast. The cost per transaction, now they're not the cheapest. Near Solana and Algorand are cheaper by really a fraction of a penny. But basically you can tell, it's like, 3 zeros after the dot and then number 4. So it's peanuts, Cardano at 33 cents, Ethereum at 57 and 57 cents, and usually it can be even a lot more than that when the Ethereum is very busy. The network is very busy. The consumption, wow, that just speaks for itself. The watt hours, per transaction, it's nothing. It's 0.008 watt hour. So extremely low per transaction, where Solana is 0.16, 2.7 for Algorand, 4.76 for Avalanche, and Cardano at 51. So once again, you want to talk about being green? Well, this is really the ultimate thing. It shows really that Solana and ICP are really way ahead of the others. And then the on-chain storage cost, and this is per gigabyte. A gigabyte will run you $5 on ICP. On Solana, wow, $48,000. I mean, it's just insane. Cardano, $17,000 to $113,000. $206,000 on Avalanche, and Ethereum, it's 15 million. So you see those chains, they record transactions, no problem. But when it comes down to on-chain storage, it's just too expensive. So on all the other projects, they basically have to look at some other system that interact with the main blockchain to be able to store, to store things, whether it's code or storing different different files. On ICP, it's extremely cheap. So overall, as a layer one, it's really the top performing one and the one pretty much with the lowest cost, and making it very possible for people to run everything on internet computer.
Thank you, Boris. Can we stake ICP? And do you have any recommendations or tips and tricks on where we should be staking ICP?
Okay, so of course, the exchange, which is not very recommended, Binance, BitTrue, they all offer some kind of a reward, but the best really is using the wallet called Stoic on ICP. And the cool thing is they will pay you actually 11% for a 6-month period holding, and you could go as much as almost 21%, but then the locking period is basically 8 years. So that's a very long time. Now, if you strongly believe in ICP and you're like, hey, I don't care, because I'm going to get almost 21% a year for the next 8 years and it's going to be compounding, well, then great. That's what you can do. BitTrue offers some 14, 30, 90 days lock-in period with a 13.6%, 9%, and 45% for those. So, but I think really the best is to always do it on chain. It's so much better, and using their wallet, etc., is probably the safest way of doing it. So 11 percent up to about 21% on Stoya.
Thank you, Boris. I appreciate that. Can we now talk about what everyone, wants to know? Can you give us a price prediction and where you see ICP in the future?
Yeah, so they come up with their own price prediction. So we're going to give you that one first. They're thinking that by next year, they could reach around 30 to $35 dollars, which is already 10x by next year. So that's big, but that's their own prediction. That's actually Internet Computer themselves. By 2025, they think they can be around $60, $65. By 2027, 144 to 120, 120, 144. And then by 2030, they think they can reach anywhere around $330 all the way up to about $400. So that would be 100x right there. So they reached 700 at first. So nothing is impossible, but they seem to be pretty up there. All right, so for the predictions of the other, whether it's Bitcoin Wisdom or price prediction or digital coin price or Cryptopolitan, by next year, we're going to be looking at possibly doubling, reaching around $8. By 2025, we could be around the lines of about $16, so doubling again. Then by 2027, we would be around the lines of about $30. And then by 2030, going beyond $100 and, around 100, let's say $120. So that would be a 30x. And that means that if you compare with the ICP, the, Internet Computer, their own prediction, and it's 100x, and most of the others, they're thinking 30x. So truth is probably in between the two. One might be more right than the other. We shall see. But it's definitely a coin that has a lot of potential and that brings something new. Sometimes when you see the other layer ones, we see a lot of copycats, basically. A lot of stuff that just look the exact same and there's nothing original. At least Internet Computer, they offer something very unique and something completely different from the others. The others, they're just slightly better versions of each other. So interesting coin. I'm starting to DCA slowly on it, while we're down right now. I mean, slow DCA. It's I like that, getting a few coins. Because it has a lot of potential and it's an interesting project.
From my side, Boris, that's all I have for today, but thank you for all the information. If you have anything else, please feel free to share.
Yeah, if you want to go to their website, they also offer a ton of information. So if you want to learn more about everything about their project, they really have one of the best websites out there that really goes into details on everything that they offer and how everything is going to work. And so lots and lots of information on their website. That's it for today. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Colton. We look forward to see you on the next Kryptonite video. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel. And if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.